doubled down. So now she's sending me a bunch of photos on Snapchat.
Still.
Yeah.
From the club.
Huh?
From the club.
Yeah. Yeah, from the no. This is the girl, one of the cop girls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of girls respond like that. There's like, sometimes I feel like when I talk to a girl, there's like a certain button. Like I'll find a button that I can push. And if I want to, I get the outcome that I want out of the situation. And it could be a little bit too tempting to push the button at times, but it's like, I just know like there's certain like character or archetypes of girls. Sometimes you run into a girl that's very unique, but it's not very usual. Usually girls follow archetypes. The unique ones are very rare, and oftentimes when I think they're unique, I actually find out later that they actually were one of the archetypes. I misplaced them, or I struggle placing them initially. So, like, yeah, like I think she's special. Yeah, like I think she's special. She doesn't follow the rules, but they all follow the rules, just in different ways. So like, there's the girl that is what is it? Like the girl that when you tell her no, so once you start rejecting her in any way, she will double the fuck down and she'll chase 10 times harder. There's the other girl that like is into pre-selection.
Good.
If a girl sees this kind of girl, if she sees you being chased by a ton of girls, she will do anything to have you. She will do anything. Like I've had girls like pull each other's hair. I've had girls like argue about who's gonna want to fuck me. I've had like straight up feeding frenzies. Sometimes what I do is I walk up to a girl and I start talking to her, and she'd be like, I'm gonna use the bathroom, and I'm like, I'd be uncertain whether or not she's using the bathroom as a try to get away from me, or if she was like interested in me. Well, I'm thinking about it for a second. I'm like, well, she's come back from the bathroom. If I start talking to a girl, it doesn't matter if I'm talking to her in a friendly way, she's gonna get jealous and double down and chase me harder. And I'm like, I'm gonna do that. So I just turn around and I'm like, hey, what's up? Yeah, my friend's using the bathroom, so what's up? You from here? I start talking to her like that, just being really like normal and cool, not like flirting with her whatsoever. But then I lean up against the wall. And I get like I make it look like she walked up to me. And I'm smiling, and then I see her out the corner of my eye, so I like get a little bit more. Now I start putting on more of the sexual like tone because I see her coming. And then sometimes too, because I'm free of alcohol when I'm doing this, the girls start chasing me. Now, even though I was being friendly at first because I was free of alcohol, because I'm not doing it for her, I'm doing it to get an effect. That girl will start chasing me. And then this is back when I used to practice Julian game, by the way. I don't do this anymore. But now, to be fair, saying this loud, I'm actually thinking about doing it again because it sounds pretty dope. So the girl walks by and she maybe thought, like she told herself, oh, I'm rejecting him. But she's now sees me with this girl. Now she's going backwards rationalize. She didn't reject me. She liked me the entire time. And she thought it was sexy. And now I'm being an asshole.
Didn't see where that was going.
Yeah, but now I'm being an asshole because now obviously it was now like, but she also still, funny enough, she'll want to get mad at me, but she'll be afraid of losing me, so she won't push the subject too hard, and she'll instead go more like try to be like.
She doesn't know you enough to be weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like a lot of pressure, but now she likes me a lot, and she doesn't know why, and now she's angry because now she feels jealous because other girls talk to me. She only talked to me for fucking 10 minutes, and now she's feeling this jealousy, and I'll have these girls like yeah. Sometimes if a girl's like not, so it's the hotter the girls, the ones that will like react like this, and they're usually the girls that are hot but like are not well developed. They're not well developed because they're too hot, and so, or they're rich and hot, and then like that kind of shit. Just they don't have like enough. They don't have depth. They have like one layer of humanity because they never had to develop a personality because they're just hot, and so whenever you do this to them, they're like most people most girls actually there's different layers of this. Some girls at a certain level will actually they had a lot of trauma with guys like this, and then they will get turned on and attracted to you, but they will also have so much trauma based around it that they'll get mad and get angry at you, and then they'll run away and they won't text you back. They won't talk to you.
If what?
If the girl's not, so usually it's like the girls that are more cute, maybe average, maybe like lower, like the lower in this, the lower in like attractiveness to society, usually, the more this is the case, or the more the girl, usually the younger girls, like the 18 to like 24-year-olds, but usually when girls get older, I think that they kind of pull off of this, not all of them. Some are in their 40s where they'll still have this in them and they'll still do it. And I don't know if I think once the girls start losing their attractiveness, I think now they're starting to like struggle a little bit. They're like, wait, oh, I can be a better person. but it's only because they have to be. Because before they were getting nothing but positive feedback from the world, and the world was feeding them so much positive feedback that now they.
But it is honest. Still, I wouldn't be like pessimistic about being like, oh, they have no choice but to humble themselves. I think that it is honest, because otherwise, they are like I personally think that it is a genuine sign in many cases of humility. They're like, all right, like I did fuck up, because they can take a different viewpoint, which is like, fuck man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can get bitter and resentful.
Yeah.
They really are like transforming, in my opinion, like in a positive way. Sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you. Ooh, I just came with an idea. All right, so this is gonna be weird. This is what I was doing with John every so often. I'm gonna turn this into a video.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut this part out and just make it seem like this is just a normal talk. What I'm gonna do is maybe I'll create you a cartoon. I'll create me a cartoon, and I'll have them like bob, so it's something for people to watch while they're just listening to sound. And maybe I'll put some logos, maybe give it some layers, and I'll give it depth with shading.
You could put this into the video too. That'd be funny.
Would it?
It's like one of those things.
Hey, that's fair. Wait, let me draw this out really fast.
That could be like the intro to the video,
Yeah,
where you're like talking about what you're gonna do.
that's actually a fair point. This isn't bad. Do with some music, give some bass.
Bass boost.
Get some people going. Alright, there we go. So different layers of shading. On the very front ones are going to be the brightest, which are going to be you and me, the cartoons. And then as to give it layers, I'm going to do different like textures, like different. And as they go further back, I'll make them darker.
How much effort will it?
For like something that I'll use repeatedly if I do these a lot.
Enough.
And I also was planning on making a cartoon for Avery anyways. So then when Avery would join in one of these podcasts, I could have him. I can make him a cartoon, and that one will bob. So if it's us three, I'll put all three of the cartoons in it, and they'll all bob. Or maybe they'll do stuff. Maybe they'll maybe I can have like an intro, interaction. So when maybe an intro where the cartoons come in and they come streaking, and then do it to music. I'll find a non-copyrighted song, and I'll just do it to music.
Dubstep.
Yeah, let me write this down. Content now, thank God. Dude, I've been struggling.
With ideas?
Well, I had those 3 boot camps. Those boot camps were harsh. It'll also be fun for me for this, because if I post up there more authentic material, where the way I talk to my friends, I have really fucking interesting conversations with you guys.
Yeah.
Like anytime I have friends that hang out with me, it's usually a really awesome conversation. There are certain friends though that are a little more locked up. Yeah. Well, the friends that I find that I do the best with these conversations with, they're always high in creativity, openness, don't have as much of an ego, are not as attached to their ideals, they're more open-minded. So they're willing to play devil's advocate even on themselves, and they don't get angry or mad about somebody attacking their opinions. They're more open-minded.
I think part of it is you too. You have your.
But not everybody does this with me.
Well, your communication style is very, it's very open too. So somebody else could kind of you know what I mean? Blah,
they would.
So there's a reason why you're running into these conversations. It's because you also bring it out of people in a way, right?
Oh.
It's some people might be that Buddhism stuff is you should follow that, etc. Or something that shows judgment or lack of empathy, and that lack of, and that's gonna turn the person off, and they're not gonna want to share anything with you.
No, definitely not. Well, I've been thinking about this. Jordan Peterson does it like this, and I think that he's the best one for this. It's actually how what the best. This actually really honestly watching his videos is how. It was when I really started doing this with my friends. I used to do this a lot by myself. I think it's with Jordan Peterson. He said, what is it? Oh, it's the way he does his interviews. So when he does his interviews, he takes on this mentality of not winning the argument, but of getting to the truth. So he does a lot of studying, and every time if he's going to argue with somebody, he has a lot of facts, and he's thought about the subject a lot. Or he just doesn't bring it up or talk about it. But if he's going to talk about something, he knows what the fuck he's talking about. So when he's explaining it, he is open-minded. If somebody gives him something that he thinks would add to his ideas that he's already thought out, he's an expert on the subject. But here's the thing though, he still is open-minded because his purpose isn't winning the argument. It's about being really good at what he does and having the right answers so that he can have a good outcome to what he's trying to get. What do I want? How can I help them out with what they want? Okay, now, if we both come to the right answer, regardless of whether or not I'm wrong or he's wrong, we both win. That's the ultimate win. It's not, the win is not...
Is that what he says, or that's what you...
This is, I inferred a lot of this. I watch his interviews and stuff, and yeah, it's just the way that he thinks. There was a Charisma on Command episode, though, I think, or that said something similar to this, but I thought about it a lot more in depth. Like, this is something I think about a lot. I just, like, I built layers on top of it. Yeah.
That's interesting, because I think he does do that, but not entirely. I've seen it because he has so much knowledge in some ways. I've also seen him, like, kind of, like, impose his, like, viewpoints in, like, a not so healthy way on other people, like, from my vantage point.
I just had another idea. I could do this from a Next Gen Society group. So my private group, I could actually take the recordings from a private group, and instead of having cartoons of you and me, I'd have cartoons with me and maybe a logo of the Next Gen Seduction bot in there. Mm-hmm. And that way, then I could use the same graphics.
Yeah.
To make
anyone.
Yeah, to make
so
those more
entertaining. And you're always the brand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then I can. But I need to. I'm still trying to come up with actually thumbnails. They'll have a unified theme. Avery's been bringing this up with me.
Well, actually, I do think you can use just use the same. Do the person, I think, actually. Mm-hmm. I think I mean, you could do both, but I see the appeal of using or will there be a lot of work if you do that? Like, you do a person, but just use the same person on every one, is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. So I do have that.
That way it feels more like a conversation instead of, like, right? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, or it gives the impression of that. If that's a possibility.
Wait, actually, here, run me by this one more time. Sorry.
That's fine. It's because I might be misunderstanding the thing. You're the one that knows all this stuff. But what I'm saying is, you're saying one of the characters is going to be you.
Yeah.
The other one, just use like a default, like black-haired, like white dude or whatever. But just use that one all the time.
For you or Avery?
For anybody, or whoever.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is, I'm thinking about taking maybe making a cartoon of you, and that's gonna be your graphic. So anytime we have conversations like this, I'll pull back your graphic, and then as I do this with more friends, I'll create cartoons for them, whatever they want to be. So Avery's gonna be their own cartoon character.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, but it sounds fun. So I'll, like, if you want me to, I can even hide your identity. I can even give you I could give you like a cool cartoon face or something like that, or I can give you like a TV for a head, or I can give you like maybe what else could we do? I could maybe give you like some kind of character that you feel attached to, maybe like some kind of social media character, and then I could like tweak it up a little bit and play with it.
Luffy.
Maybe Luffy? Do you want to be Luffy? Actually, do you want to be Luffy?
That'd be funny. I guess that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right, Luffy. I'll fuck with Luffy. Do you want me to add, actually?
I don't want you to get copyrighted or something.
No, well, that's why I'm gonna tweak it. That's what I was gonna. So what I could do is I could take features of you, give it to Luffy.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Okay.
Make an NFT.
Yeah. It'll take me like literally a few hours to do though. These things always take me time, but once I get it done, it's something I can use repeatedly for every one of these conversations. Yeah. And it's something that I like doing so much. So the certain things that I'm good at are things that I like working wise. I can do infinitely. Like, it's something I do for fun.
I know, but like there's some of the things that I see, like, it's because you put so much passion and work into it, but like sometimes I'm more pragmatic, right? Like, I want to see, like, I mean, I guess it has worked for you actually in the long run. It really has. I mean, you built a very nice business for yourself. Oh, the whole.
Yeah, well,
very
this is for YouTube. Might as well turn that off.
Yeah. The whole, I mean, like, I'm used to it. But, yeah, like, some of those things, like, it's cool that you put, like, a lot of work into it, but, like, on some of them, like, what worries me slightly, or at least for me, it's like, man, like...
Spend my energy in bad places?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel that. It's a way, see, the way I rationalize it is a way of, like, convincing myself to work. And it's like, it helps me build momentum.
What's worked for you,
yeah.
Obviously, on some level, right?
Yeah, but then it's like, maybe like, as like I get more of the work narrative going, and I rip that cord more, and I start believing that the workaholic story, then what I could do is I could transition off of that and use that same energy for something else to be more productive. Does that make sense? Because I more identify, and my brain, for whatever reason, feels more like this is going to value my life somehow. Putting energy into something like this graphic, which, to be fair, it's going to raise engagement on the video, because all they're going to hear, they're not going to watch it. They're going to watch a YouTube video with like
black screen.
Yeah, so they like, I've noticed a lot of YouTubers will do this usually, where they'll create like a moving graphic. And I am very like, I like the whole comic book style theme sometimes on my YouTube channel. So maybe I could do that and add like a comics books theme. Not to mention too, it gives it a really cool vibe and theme. Like, I like the reframe on my life, that my life is like this image, or like that this story or this conversation is like this. It's this epic thing, instead of it being just a conversation between two friends. You know, they're just weirdly obsessed with stupid things that a small percentage of the population is into.
Like, going back to the whole savant thing you were talking about like earlier, like you kind of have that like pickup, like, for sure, right? Like, big time.
Yeah.
Me with like kind of meditation. I don't think I think you're even more obsessed actually.
Well, I think by learning that stuff too, so it's almost like you're playing with mental toys in a way. Like, and I get this new tool, it's like I get a toy. I'm like, whoa, cool. I understand this thing. And as I understand it better, I can more manipulate myself to do something, or go put myself down a lane, or even use that same thing to even play in a conversation with a girl and fuck around with her, because I understand her better now. I can even like
your mind, the way it works, it's cool. It's almost like you're in like a fucking playground. That's what it sounds like, the way you describe it.
Yeah, but sometimes I get, because not everybody thinks similar to me, so sometimes I get a little bit almost gaslit by society in a way, where I'm told like that, like, people don't, sometimes when I speak to them, they glaze over, and it seems like it's almost as if they glitch. Like, I'll be talking to them and they'll almost glaze over, and then they'll just start talking about something else unrelated, or they'll interrupt me and talk about something they wanted to talk about, and I'm like, okay. And it's just like, I just don't know if they even received what I said. Like, do they receive me, or like do people think I'm crazy? And then I'll see people people tell me that like, oh, these self-development shit is bullshit or something like that, and like, it's like they're all just trying to scam you. And I was like, but it feels real to me. Or maybe like the girls will start liking me more when I act a certain way, but everybody's telling me it's all looks. It's all about looks. But when I act this way, and I speak this way, and I feel this way, girls like me. So what's that? And then when I act this way, girls are repulsed by me and run away. They actually get disgusted by me. So is it that like the girls all are, maybe during a certain part of the season, do they all just go blind? All right, like,
go back to that, because I was like still pondering like everything else you were saying. Like, what about girls, like you're saying? Yeah.
So women react differently to me when I act a certain way, and when I feel a certain way. When I'm happy, girls like me more. When I'm calm, girls like me more. When I'm relaxed, girls like me more. When I'm confident with my words, and I need to get playful with them. So right now I'm trying to add the playful energy that I add with the girl that makes it more punchy. Like, you hear how like it's slightly more punchy now, instead of me like kind of droning on, and I'm switching up the pace on purpose, and now I'm playing with it.
Interesting.
And now I can
like, I'm hypnotized.
Yeah, and like that makes me blush.
Basically, right?
Yeah,
pretty much, right?
But now you can start doing like this. So this is the stuff I've been working on with clients and myself. Now I can add stillness, and I can even add more like languid movements. Maybe I can even drag the vowels, make it sound a little bit more cocky. Like, I can like more do like that. There's a lot of the guys that are very confident, they speak very similarly. They all speak the same way. Do you see like how I just like switch that up, instead of me doing my weird like fucking like autistic talk where I'm talking about like, now I'm talking like, that's the way I talk to girls. And that's the way that I talk that makes them attracted to me. And I talk like you, like this, because I don't really, I'm not trying to pick you up. I'm trying to talk about these ideas and get them out of my head before I forget them.
But it was more captivating when you were, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it works.
Oh, really?
Universe.
Oh, so there might be a rationalization. I need to also do this now too.
Yeah, because you weren't talking like in a seductive way, it just sounded like more charismatic.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fair
point.
There's
a difference there too.
There's probably just a codependency thing for me not to talk that way. Yeah. That's probably a rationalization. Yeah, probably make myself smaller.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that too in general. Like, in subtle ways, like I kind of forget because my so ADHD, but it's like,
Yeah.
I gotta do that. It's like,
Well, it's so funny. All right. So over the years, I realized that I figured out how to talk and how to figure this out. But still, like, I will find rationalizations to talk the old way, or how to like I'll know how to speak or think to make a girl like me, and I'll still purposely get rejected. And I caught myself doing that. Like in my second year in, I was like, I know how to speak to make you like me, at least initially, to have a good reaction, maybe get a little turned on. But then I would fight it, and that was actually a big thing. Is that I know how to act and speak to make me attractive, but sometimes I fight it, or my body or my psychology fights me. It's like when I first get out there, I want to talk to girls, I'm shaky. I'm like a little bit, I'm in my head, I'm overthinking it. I start using a lot more filler words. I'm anxious, but a lot of times it's because I'm doing a death grip on something, especially when I'm meeting up with clients where I feel the need to perform for Avery or you, like maybe initially, and then I finally let go and I'm like, oh no, this is fun. And then I'm a lot more forward, and then it's easier. Instead of me worrying about things that are just completely irrelevant.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking into the ring.
Yeah. Maybe I'll like splice that in right here. You know, it'd be fun doing little like animations throughout to spice it up. So right there, I could do a sliding, like that'd be fun, and then like do a sliding slam, or maybe like a dream, like kind of like fade in with Mike Tyson. You know what's funny too is now it's taking notes, so I can actually come back to this part that's gonna be in the fucking clip just to pull it out so I don't have to write it down. Yeah, which is actually the original reason why I even started doing this, because I want to go through this later and find some ideas for content or things to think about later. Like
very smart.
Yeah. Well, taking notes is so powerful. I love that shit. Sometimes I'll draw diagrams, so I try to help me out with this shit sometimes.
What do you prefer, like paper, pen and paper notes, or also audio and stuff?
Audio when I'm driving, audio and if I'm
the benefit.
Yeah. When I go on long trips, I like to spend those times thinking about things. So I'll play stuff like sometimes I'll play the music, try to get myself in a fun mood. Sometimes I'll listen to something to like get my mind going. Download some like educational stuff, you know, like, and then like every so often when I have an idea, I'll pull out my phone, just record myself while I'm driving down here, and then I got a cool idea. Go and look it over later and just write down all the notes from all the ideas that I had while I was driving. So then I don't waste my time just sitting in a car doing nothing. Instead of like being productive and actually getting work done in a roundabout way. Notice this too, between Avery and my brother. They both do the same thing. So Avery's like oftentimes just watching educational stuff when he plays video games or listening to it. That's what my brother does too. My brother is really smart. So I think there's something to it.
He's older.
Yeah, my brother's younger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you a story about my brother? Did I tell you like how he was in school though?
Yeah.
With the girls?
Kind
of. Okay. I told Avery about this shit, and it still blows my mind because I've never seen anybody treated like this with girls ever. And I've been in the game for a while. I've never seen anybody treated like this. It had a lot to do with pre-selection too. How my brother was really good at getting feeding frenzies going in schools. So every time we go to a new school, he got the feeding frenzy going. And it was insane how hard and the crazy shit that would happen. And my brother just became infuriatingly like confident. And now I'm gonna tell you how. So he was always just a little bit more confident. He was very loud, very boisterous, and he was a very cute kid. Right? He's very adorable when he's younger. And now it's just, you're a shithead if you're listening to this. So you, all right. So there was this time where we drive up to his school, and I see this young boy like standing in the grass, and all these girls, like probably about 15 girls on the grass, like crisscross applesauce, surrounding him, watching him, listening to him as if he was the president of the United States. My brother's just doing these gestures and talking to all the girls. The girls are all laughing together, and they're just enjoying the conversation so much. It's 15 girls. My brother's standing over all of them like this. And I was like, dude, you're in fucking 4th and 5th grade, dude, chill. I was like, Jesus Christ. He was insanely confident. My brother was insane. All right, now I'm gonna tell you some more stories. There was this time where I was getting bullied by this big kid. This kid was like 6'1". It was 6th grade. My brother's 2 years. This was like when he's in 4th grade. No, wait. Am I thinking right? No, this is when I was in 8th grade. My brother was in 6th grade. Well, he picked on this kid so hard. So this kid was giving me shit. And my brother heard about this, and we're just hanging out one day, and the kid was near me, and he says something to me, and my brother just goes in. My brother dissed him so hard, put him so far in his head, he looked like he was gonna cry. My brother made this like kid 2 years older than him cry because he picked on me. Like, my brother's smart as fuck. There was this time where like, let's see. All right, this actually is really crazy. So we're sitting down on an airplane flight, and I'm sitting down next to him, and this still feels like a dream because I've never seen this happen before. Just because it's weird. Actually, that's not even worse than this. Oh my God. Okay, let me get to this one. So I'm sitting next to him, and there's this really cute redhead, like a rich redhead, in the across the lane from us on the other side, and it's him and me, and then we have an open seat next to us. Well, the stewardess goes, "Hey, well, would you want to go sit next? Well, here, would you like to go sit next to your brother?" Pointing at my brother. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not here. Cool. Well, she goes, "Wait, you think I look like him? Oh my God, thank you." And I was like, dude, he's a little kid. All right, first and foremost. And I'm like, geez, how fucking cute are you? See, this also too is what I realized. My brother holds his face very relaxed. So he's just very relaxed in the face, and just like, he's just very like.
Which means he is relaxed.
Yeah, he's always relaxed. And that really helps out a lot. Anyways, there was a time when there was a dating website, and somebody found my brother's photo of him when he was like in 7th grade on a dating app. He's a kid. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So then what happened? I was at school, and this girl was friends with this girl I had a crush on. And she walks up to me, and I get nervous because I'm a dorky kid. I'm a nerd. And she comes up to me, and she goes, "Hey, are you Hunter's brother?" She had a crush on my brother. My brother was 2 years younger than us. I'm like, chill, you pedophile. I'm like, Jesus. Like, how is this kid like so well known? He would get like, oh my God.
He was like, what, 13?
Yeah.
You were 15.
Yeah. My brother's always just had like kind of like this very single-minded headspace. Like, he's very, so he started haggling my mom for chores. And so he was like, so every time my mom wanted to do anything, he would start trying to haggle with her to try to get the most amount of money out of her for chores. When he was like a freshman in high school, he started buying coins and shit. Like, he started reading, he got obsessed with business books, like just random books. He read, like, he had a bunch of books, a big bookcase full of like a bunch of books filled with, you know, things about money and like dollar signs, stuff like that on the binders. Our brother's just a very wicked smart kid.
He was figuring it out early.
Yeah. Me and my brother sometimes will do like these little like almost like mental sparring match kind of things. Sometimes we're like, we'll like run through an idea. Not really, my brother's very competitive with me. I'm not so competitive myself. That's not really my answer. Like, my thing is like being very, anyways, it's not important. So we were looking at this homeless guy, and he goes, "What do you think this homeless guy's reality or rationalization is for being homeless?" Which, you know, is assuming that, you know, he didn't, you know, have something that happened to him that maimed him and put him here, barring that, or maybe a drug addiction. What's the mindset that put him there? And I was like, I really can't remember what I said, to be fair, because what he told me now is the thing that I think now. And he looked at the guy and he said, he actually looks at us like we're the paupers and the homeless people, and he thinks that he's the one that won. He thinks that we're locked in the system. He thinks that he's the one that's freed up because he gets to like sit down all day and then look at all these drones just walking to work. He's egotistical and narcissistic. And I was like, whoa. like he spanned my head around. My brother doesn't even study this shit. Dude, I would like, he's one of those guys that I would tell a concept to that I thought about, and they would play with it in ways that I don't like, that I didn't see before, and angles like didn't see before. I'm like, dude, I just told you this 5 seconds ago. Chill the fuck out. This took me like a week to figure out. Dude, Arthur's like that. Arthur gets like that where he'll like, dude, he's like that kind of wicked smart. I'll take this part out.
What do you think is the best like antidote like for those people like in those situations? Like realistically, what if you like slam like you like hit the ball back right at them like even twice as hard and it's like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I just
like,
can't.
Like a taste of their own medicine. They're like, fuck. Okay.
Wait,
I guess that doesn't feel good.
Wait, say that again.
Like giving them like not in a like a. It's kind of like a warning shot in a sense. It's like they're kind of like, it's like if you're playing tennis and they like fucking slam it hard at you, right? Like this narcissistic person.
Yeah.
It's like boom, they're trying to show you what they had.
Oh.
And then you hit the ball back like twice as hard, and they're like, and you're just like, hey bro, I'm just chilling. But like if you want to play that game, like I'm here. And it's like you kind of like humble them a little bit, like what? If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's
like I don't have to play that game, and I'd rather not. I'd rather just hang out with you. But if you want to play on that level,
to be fair too, to be a better friend, I need to call him out on it. To be fair, because if I don't call him out for it, he probably doesn't even know he's doing it. To be fair, I don't notice it when I'm doing stuff until my friends call me out for it. Oftentimes, sometimes a lot of shit goes under the surface or just happens. That's such a point. Because they can't accept the fact that they're not gods. Because if they're not gods and perfect and the best, then they're worms. Like it's like the so like a codependent will look at somebody, they'll either make them either like this angel entity, or they'll make them the devil. You're either perfect and great and good, or you're evil. Yeah, but there's no middle ground. They're bad. Yeah, which is funny. It's bad at like exactly. It's bad at the gray zones in a way. But narcissists, they more do it with themselves. Which, to be fair, codependents do it with themselves too. Like to themselves, they either love themselves completely, or they're worms and they slam themselves in a way. But narcissists they don't want to feel like worms, and it hurts. So what they do is they have to shove themselves into godlike modes, and sometimes they need the proof, and they need anything to get the proof. So they're going to tell you, I'm this, say I'm this, say I'm this, say I'm this, to an extent, so that people feel them back in, and they need a constant like validation that they are it. And that's a lot of people. I think a lot of people do that, to be fair, because everybody has levels of narcissism. Like nobody's like free of narcissism. Like some people are like way more absorbed in it. I think about it like this. So I read a lot of narcissism, codependency, and the literature is all over the place, but here's the general idea from what I understand. It's almost like there's like an event horizon for narcissism, where once you pass that event horizon, it sucks you in and it doubles down, and it gets worse over years until you start developing self-awareness. Codependence though, if you're more on, yeah. Well, narcissism and codependency are both come from the lack of a sense of self, because you don't have consistent something, you don't have consistent validation of your feelings and emotions, or like of experience of life, or you are being, or you are having inconsistent love from your parents, or it could be both. If it's both, usually you're pretty fucked. Like you're usually like probably suffering from some kind of like mental disease, you know. But if you're missing one or the other, you're either narcissist or codependent.
Oh yeah, but you were gonna say something. But so you covered the but I interrupted you. You covered the narcissistic one, but you didn't cover the codependent, like the way out. You said the codependent, I mean the narcissist eventually develops little by little, but like over time, like self-awareness. It's like their ego gets so big that it like pops in a way. It's like a balloon. Maybe that's what you were trying to say.
No, I feel like a lot of narcissists, they need to be humbled. So they need something to scare the shit out of them.
That's what I said earlier, remember?
Is it?
Yeah, I said like you hit the ball like,
oh yeah,
like twice as hard at them, and it's like, oh shit, like you can't be like, hey, you need to stop doing this. Well, you know you're hurting people by doing this. This is not gonna work.
They do lack to an extent self-awareness, but they need to almost be, to be fair, any person you put around in a good environment where like everybody in the environment is a certain way, people will adapt. Like the only reason a narcissist is the way he is because he gets some kind of validation that he is this. Yeah. But if you continually every time call out the narcissist for, like you're saying, doing it, the narcissist is not getting what he wants out of it. Every time he does it, he gets punished for being a narcissist. So guess what? He's gonna stop being a narcissist. Or not, at least he's gonna stop acting like it. Or he's gonna like start changing his behavior to fit more like that which actually would honestly benefit him. Because the action feeds the ego, And as he keeps changing his mindsets around this, as he keeps changing his actions, he has to rationalize his actions, which will hopefully possibly make him more healthy-minded over time, because the action feeds the ego. And then he'll start being actually healthy-minded. Which, to be fair, I think any change needs both, like trying to work on the ego while working on the actions too. Any change in like character.
Interesting. Yeah.
And let the snowball effect take effect. Yeah, like start little, start with something small, and that small thing, as you do it consistently, builds, and you start like identifying that small thing you do every day, and then as you identify it, you start having fun doing it, and then you start expanding on it, and then you start getting drawn to the action, and then you're no longer doing it because you have to do it. Now you're doing it because you love doing it, because your ego's aligned with it. Now it's like, instead of it, like now it's a video game. Yeah. I feel like, well, we slammed ourselves really hard this weekend.
Yeah. All of us, right?
Yeah. Every time somebody puts their hand in their mouth, I always look at that instantly like, okay, this person's like thinking about something right now, like holding something in.
I'm always thinking about something.
Yeah, but it's coming more from like the need to like almost like hold like an inner self in, because you're afraid of like something that somebody will think, which means that you're also partially thinking about me on some sense. So like a lot of times when people do this, they're thinking about. So if I see a girl look past me, put her hand on her mouth, I know she's thinking about the direction she was going because she's looking in the direction she's going, so she feel like she's late. So then I turn and go, hey, you want to walk this way? Let me walk that way, because she put her hand in her mouth. So like you doing it right now, you're probably like being like, man, I'm tired. And I'm kind of done with this conversation. I actually feel bad because I did this instead of working.
What? Probably, I mean, I think for sure what you're saying is true, like to some degree. What you're saying is true to some degree, but it's not like that big of a deal either, if that makes sense. It's like, yeah, it is an emotion, but it's not like this big, like, it's not this big fucking thing holding back. It's like,
yeah.
I'm gonna go do something.
You're like, you're putting your brain in two places.
Huh?
You're putting your brain in two places.
Yeah, it's more like that. It's not that, but like, I think anyway.
Yeah, well.
Or at least I'm not aware of it enough anyway, at a conscious level.
That's actually something I used to do really bad. I need to stop doing that.
What?
So sometimes what I used to do with girls was that when I started trying to figure this stuff out, I would watch the girl and be like, wait, you did something right there. Is that this? And then I do that, and what I do is put the girl in their head even more, because now they're overthinking. Now what I'm doing is shoving them in their head. If that was the purpose.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. If I do it with the girl though, shove her in her head, and then she overthinks it, and then like you lose out on that free flowing conversation. And then once she gets in her head, she's afraid of me walking on her, or she's like feeling anxious, and sometimes they'll even auto eject me, because they sense that energy or that thing. And like, not to mention, girls and people don't have enough self-awareness to know what they're thinking. She'll think she's thinking somewhere else, or she'll rationalize she's thinking something else. So I never get an honest answer out of a girl when it comes to that kind of shit.
In regards to what? Like them wanting whatever's going on in their head. The double.
If I'm acting like an idiot, and I'm shy, and I talk to a girl, and the girl walks off on me, and she's like, ew, whatever, walks away. But then I talk to her again, I'm in the zone this time, and I'm in the pocket, and like I'm like joking, I'm messing with girls around me, people being loud and expressive. Now the girl's gonna talk to me like into me, and then she'll tell me after that she was into me the entire time. No, you weren't. You were not into me.
Right.
Like the first time I talked to you, you were not into me.
It's weird. The way but our minds do the same thing, right? It's because like it's like a recent, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a recency bias. It's right. It's like it's a recency. It's an availability bias as well, which just means like it's like, oh, I'm feeling this right now, and then your mind like it just like fills in the blanks, like the whole like that book we had earlier here, Thinking Fast and Slow.
Yeah.
It's filling in all those blanks. It's like, oh, it's always been this way.
Yeah.
Or like when a person is splitting, the way you described, like, right, it's like, oh, they're angry now. It's like, I hate this person. It's not terrible. And it's like, what about like a week ago when you were like so deeply in love with them? It's like,
it's like the emotion kind of clouds your judgment of reality or your view of it's the lens changes. So now like this angry lens, and the people don't have enough self-awareness to realize, or maybe they're so pushed by their emotions that they're so at the mercy of their, man, I just lost it. So at the mercy of their emotions that they're so blinded by it, and their emotions are so much more bigger than their logical side, that they push through with the emotions, and they don't ever like put enough they don't ever put underneath a magnifying glass to be like, oh wait, I'm following a pattern. Every time I'm in a bad mood, now this person is like this. Instead of them being like, oh, I'm just in a mood, I'm cranky, and now I hate this guy. when you text her, and then she's out partying. She's like, I always like this guy. And now's the best time to text her. Which actually, I had this idea of like finding out when girls are working and then texting them, like as soon as I think that they're gonna start partying, or as soon as I think they're going. If I can figure out maybe what their schedule is while I'm talking to them in person, a little bit, I know what times to text them at.
That's why door-to-door sales is so hard.
Yeah, you can even do that with phone calls for sales or something like that. Yeah, door-to-door sales are tough though.
This is like, we're fucking having dinner with this motherfucker, right? So
Yeah.
You're like kind of like completely against it. No, it's a good training ground. Like, really
yeah. Cold approach sales were so difficult for me at first. That stuff was like an uphill battle. Everybody told me to quit out of it. Yeah, at first.
Your coworkers?
Yeah, my coworkers said that it
like,
wasn't for me.
suck.
Yeah, they said it wasn't for me, and I just kept pushing into it because I didn't want to give up. And not to mention too, it was working on my social skills, and that's what I wanted. The reason I was doing it was not for the money, is because it was building my social skills, making me better at game. Like I didn't care about like the money, and so that was like, and there were certain situations where I practiced my game, like the card job. I was practicing my game while I was out there, and it actually pissed off my managers at times, but I was doing it on purpose. I wasn't like, I was just trying to practice my social skills in a way, and also too, it was my validation, proved to me I was good enough, because I can do this kind of thing, because I used to be really bad with girls, so it was my rationalization that now I'm enough.
Well, I was getting really sharp when I was doing the door-to-door sales. Like after a while, like I would notice when I would like go and talk to other people, like my mom or family or even girls, like it wasn't a narcissistic way almost. It felt like unhealthy, but I was like just like on it, like on every single level. It's just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's the greatest feeling too when that happens too. Just like that
it
release.
is, but it felt kind of dirty because like it felt like manipulation on many levels.
Yeah, but it's so fun. Like when you're like that, isn't it? Because now everything's a little clearer. Like things.
Maybe it is better. Maybe it is healthier actually.
Well, it's like when you're talking to people too, their motives and what like everything like is just more like there. So when somebody's being manipulative, or when somebody, or even if somebody, maybe you're talking to a girl and you have no problem like being just super cocky and super like charismatic and super like you're not stuttering, you're not second guessing yourself, and you're going full forward, and everything, all your words and everything you're doing, you're so confident in, and like now because you're not afraid to take those like hard actions, those hard steps, now you can like really punch, and now you get the feedback that you're allowed to do this, and then your state goes up. Yeah, so
you should make a video about that. Actually, I think that's a very important one.
It's just it's hard to monetize, honestly, which is actually why it's hard to like make into a title that I think would work, because I mean, I guess I could bend it a little bit, and I could try to be like the way to no longer having approach anxiety. I'm not gonna do like these like something like that. Maybe make it around approach anxiety, because the approach anxiety videos get a lot of views because everybody's afraid to approach. So, and everybody's like trying to find the solution, which there is a solution.
Or you could do like a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Be like, the problem is not approach anxiety.
Ooh, whoa, that was a good one. Yeah, that's dope. That's a good one.
Because I got that all from like the copywriting stuff.
I'm trying to practice it, but the things that Avery told me were the videos were like the power words ones.
Uh-huh.
So I was looking through power words.
Oh yeah.
And is there another thing I should look at?
Oh, well, I had another list. I'll give it to you later. It says that these are the types of titles that, I think I did send it to you actually. These are the types of titles that do perform the best. And this guy is like a millionaire, surely. Doing purely copyright.
It is too.
So these titles, they're more like fill in the blank, etc. But it's also more so the concept. That's what matters. It's like these are the types of titles, and each one of them has like a certain concept behind it, and that's how I got that. It's like a paradigm shift. Oh, what's a paradigm shift? Not approach anxiety. Right? It's like something new. Well, something happened out here. I don't know. It's like
Man, the problem is not approach anxiety. It's such a great title.
There's something, yeah, something.
Your problem.
That might not be the exact title, but like something around that.
Your problem, because now it's more centralized. Your problem is not approach anxiety. ...
That's that is good too, because like you're saying that, right? So.
Hey, title number 1 for the episode. Your problem is not approach anxiety. ...
Wait, that was the ending of the video, I guess.
Yeah. Now it's coming full circle. Now we have the serpent effect going. See, this is how Hollywood does it. Okay, circle of life, bitch.
No, and I think it is good because like it's good because I remember Marcus talked about this like back then and they're talking about like Tony Robbins and stuff like that, like the way that language like conditions us to think in certain ways, right? It's like, and it's like marketing does the same thing, right? It's like marketing's job is like sometimes to like, I could be wrong about this, but like to present a supposed problem in your life or present a problem that you weren't aware of, right? And it's like, oh, the problem is approach anxiety, or the problem is your looks, or this or that. And it's like they create this problem in your mind, they plant the seed, and now you're doubting, now it's like, oh, this is my problem. Now, how do I fix it? It's like, oh, we have this product, right? So they sell you that product based on that problem.
But the problem never existed. It's self-created.
Maybe it became a problem over time because they kept getting like shoved in your face, and now you're like, oh, this must be the problem, etc.
I think that a lot with looks too. I think a lot of guys get fed that this is the reality.
Well, for me, it's been much more obvious for a long time in that realm, but I think with like a lot of the stuff like in this space, like can probably be damaging. It's like approach anxiety, and it's like people like for years just like dealing with this because they think that it's this, and it's like, no, just get that bullshit out of your head and right or whatever. It's like it's almost like you program yourself to feel something that maybe wouldn't have been such an issue before.
I found that alright, so this is alright. There's two ways that I've been actually fixing it. The first one is that I've created myself a process that I know and I follow. Every time I go out when I feel out of it, I baby step my way up.
Yeah.
And I give people eye contact, I wink at people, I get more expressive, I get louder. I feel like I want to do something, but I'm afraid what people think, so then I force myself to do it.
You're creating a product right now.
Yeah, and I'm
well, you're like giving the whole product.
Hey, they made it this far.
You're making the outline for the product.
If they made it this far in the video, they get a free product.
This part. Yeah. It's too much.
Well, so the idea is that when the more that I lean into it, the more I baby step into it, and the more that I lean, and the more that I don't stop myself for doing something that I know will make me shy. So, all right, this is what I realized. It's not just when I'm gaming. So when I wake up in the morning, sometimes I feel more shy. And then I have to like train myself, and I'll start actually doing this to get myself in the zone. And like right now I'm getting more expressive and I'm getting more loud as the night goes on. It always happens. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and I wake up out of it. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. But I think it's also like there's habits and beliefs that are actually pushing me back into this personality. There's narratives. And I'm trying to identify because the more if I can understand my narratives and my reasoning for doing things, I can throw a monkey wrench in the engine. I can stop the mannerism or the I get said stimulus from thought. Like thought came from this I can get rid of this, or I can change my daily walk, or I can change something, or I can put something here to remind me not to think this. I could like remind myself as long as I can every time it pops up, notice it, I can get it to go away. And the more I notice it, the more it almost evaporates, and it's almost get dissipated in the mist.
Right.
In the way the habit works, and eventually it just snaps, and no longer do I actually align with it. Now I'm more aligned with something that's more positive.
That's why you have to meditate, because like everything you described is basically meditation.
Yeah.
Like you just described like you're already like naturally meditating, like throughout, just like by existing, or like
yes.
just like.
Oh no, I don't actually though.
No. Like what you're describing is like.
But I'm ADD as fuck though when I don't really, I mean I'm good at like locking into it, but when I get like this, so this is like I get into free flow mode for this. Like this is my creative mode. When I smoke weed, a lot of the thoughts like connect a lot better, I guess. But and it also actually, to be honest, what it is I have a lot more fun talking about it and explaining it verbally when I smoke. It's more fun to play with it.
I think that's also like for me. That's why it's those are my like what is it like FE I think. No, I forgot.
Extroverted feelings. Yeah, that's your second function, right? You take in things through magic.
Seems like it. Yeah, I think it just happens like in the background, like everything's just like, connected, and then like I like have to like say it. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I still don't understand your personality type, by the way. Your personality type still throws me off. I actually wanted to research it because your personality type is so weird. Because you guys are supposed to be feeling dominant, but you guys are very logical too, and you guys are actually really good at like being like having intellectual conversations that are not emotional. So that's weird that you don't You're very in touch with like who you are, and you're very in touch with who I am, and you're very quick at catching me when I do stupid shit or like I'm trying stuff, and or like when I'm like being self-defeating, and I'm, you know, you're good at catching that shit, but you're not interpreting it through emotion. You're explaining it to me logically, so that's like a weird thing.
I am interpreting it through emotion out of compassion, but but that's not the solution, right? It's not gonna like right. It's like the compassion like calls it out, because otherwise like I wouldn't care. It's like, oh, just let him suffer. Like, who gives a shit?
So you keep it to yourself, and then like you just be like, oh, he's just a dumbass, or like not even dumbass.
That'd be the difference. Yeah, I think most people that's what they're doing. Actually.
Or they just be like, they just feel bad for the person, maybe.
So it's like, it's like I noticed what's going on, but like here's what you have to do.
Some people like, well then again, I feel really bad when somebody, well actually, it sucks when you talk to somebody and they're so resistant to like actually taking the feedback, and you know that no matter what you say, they're not ready to keep it or take it and try to fix it, because they you know, they're addicted to whoever they are in their narrative, and now it's impossible to pull them away from that shit. Like, I think like a lot of people, they have a really loose sense of ego and sense of self that they know is pliable, and have proof that they've changed it in the past and changed their sense of self-identity in the past, you know, to more aligned with that which helps them. And now because they have proof of it, now they have more confidence in like maybe taking advice about changing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like that initial loosening up of like the ego or character, and if you get locked in your character out of narcissism or fear.
Yeah, I think it's fear, right, at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, everything's coming from a place of either running away from like getting kicked out of the tribe, or chasing love of the tribe, more love of the tribe.
That's the way you see it.
Yeah, well, that's
your conceptual model.
Yeah, I mean, there's obvious other things, like, I mean, but it's on there's this thing called the hierarchies of needs. Food, like shelter, like, you know, life, food, shelter. Then there is like, you know, like there's it's a
Maslow.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I was based on the name, but like, you know, at the lower tiers, obviously that shit wouldn't matter, but we're at the higher tiers. Like a lot of people
are right.
Yeah,
we're like self-actualizing.
We're in a first world country, which is why, like, you know.
Oh, fair enough.
Like that's why a lot of kids in other countries are so happy, because they don't have the time to worry about that shit. They're like, dude, we gotta survive. Or you're like, look, like you don't have time to worry about that shit.
No, but we're doing really well, because like, in my opinion anyway, that's my personal opinion. Because sometimes like years ago I would be working on all this like self-development stuff, but I was like at the top of the pyramid. I was like, oh, I'm working on this. This is mine. But like at the same time, some of the bottom ones, like acceptance from like others, etc. I forget what the exact names of them, but I felt like those were like pulling me down in a sense, right? But I've noticed like over time, like I looked at that pyramid like recently actually, and I was like, wait a minute, like my whole life right now, my goals and everything are based around the top one. Like everything I do is to try to self-actualize, which is like basically becoming the best version of yourself, right? At the end of the day. And it's like, whoa, that's interesting. Before, like I was trying that, but those lower needs were like competing with my attention. And now it doesn't feel like those lower needs are actually competing for my attention. Not even necessarily because like I did necessarily fulfill them, but it's like I got to such a point of focus where it's like, nah, bro, like you're not gonna like keep like pulling me down. It's kind of like a mirage, like similar to like I don't know, like a person like me, right? Like if I get needy, or a girl gets needy with you, where they're like, I need you. It's like an illusion, right? It's like those illusions like aren't like pulling me down as much. I mean, they still do, but not as much as before.
So you see it as an illusion.
What?
So the idea of the person.
Not like not needing people entirely, but like that like where you're like grossly overestimating how much you need the other person, right?
The way that I found myself rationalizing it, that actually helped me out with this, was I told myself that, so this is a really weird rationalization I told myself. So if you were like no longer here, or like let's say I lost like a girlfriend. Okay, let's say I lost a girlfriend. Like, all right, so I'm actually currently going through a breakup.
Right.
The way that I rationalize it that helps me out is that, look, that spot that's going away is one, opening up more space in my ability to take in close friends, and opening it up for somebody else that's more capable of taking that spot, because I'm only capable of so many friends based on either like personality type, or maybe like mentality or ego or energy or time, and based on all that shit, I'm taking up this time that could be used for something else, and this mental bandwidth, and I can replace it with somebody that is a lot more healthy for me and healthy with me. Maybe even maybe just an actual guy friend. Maybe even not a girlfriend, but a friend who's a girl that is just dope. Maybe or a
mentor.
Mentor. Yeah. Or time that I can be spending making something else, like a product, or be working on myself. I'm wasting out on somebody that's so toxic. Not someone, but the relationship.
The behavior.
The behavior, the cycle of the way that both our psychologies bounce off each other in an unhealthy way that manipulates both of us in a way that hurts us. We suffer together, but separately maybe we're having a good time. Maybe not always. Maybe she's still suffering. Maybe I'm still suffering. Maybe she's better off. Maybe I'm better off. But regardless, it's toxic. You gotta cut the relationship off. It's the interaction itself, not the person. All the added animosity that's taken and targeted at the person is actually unhealthy and actually very toxic. It's more looking at the relationship, right? Am I thinking about this right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I understand what you're saying. It actually reminds me of something. No, I think you're describing it, but it didn't hit me until you asked me, I guess, so confirm it. So it reminded me of the sunk cost fallacy, right? Which you know that is, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's sunk cost,
investing in somebody.
Yeah, or a decision. It's what if, and that sunk cost fallacy causes a lot of worry too and doubt, right? It's what if making this decision is the bad choice?
Yeah, they start
even though you have
yourself.
so much evidence. That's not the case. You've already explained it. Right? Just right now, you just explained all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much evidence that that's not the case. Yeah, your mind is afraid of the little percentage that you might potentially lose. It magnifies it, right?
Well, she's what she does is she pokes and prods, which it's not her fault. It's just her attachment style. She just needs to work on it. Yeah, she's a very empathetic, caring person, especially friends-wise. She's an amazing friend. Because in a relationship, she gets a little crazy. So what she'll do is she'll poke and prod, try to find angles on me. And the second that I cave on one point, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. She'll use any kind of emotion to try to she experiments almost subconsciously, not consciously, subconsciously. She needs me. Because she needs me. She starts prodding, then she finds an angle. Once she finds an angle that works, she pushes on it, and then she will keep pushing on it because she's getting what she wants. Right. She's getting her release of missing me or pain or going through the breakup process. And also to ego maybe. Some people actually do it out of ego because they see you as either one, you're filling their attachment, or two, you are by losing you, they get a sense of maybe they're winning, or maybe I'm losing by not having this person, or maybe I invest all this time in this person and now I'm losing all this time. It's sunk.
That's what the BPD thing just encapsulates, right? That even works.
Yeah, that's BPD. Yeah, that's BPD. That's I've watched so many videos on BPD. It's crazy. I actually was worrying at first that I was looking at this and I was getting gaslit a little bit because of the BPD, and she started trying to convince me I had BPD, and I was looking at the symptoms, and some of them line up with codependency, and so then I was codependency still is manipulative though.
Well, you would have to look at the DSM criteria.
Yeah.
And then you would have to fit a certain amount of them.
Mm-hmm.
And not even you, but a psychologist.
Oh yeah. Well, and also I couldn't obviously.
Because you're not gonna be as a judge.
Yeah, I should come into an office and be non-biased and tell him exactly what's going on and see what he thinks.
Yeah.
And that's the best way, honestly, to work with them. Yeah. I'd be down. From what I can tell, he's an anxious person, an overthinker, and codependent.
Oh, you?
Huh? I think. I used to be histrionic a little bit, which maybe I still am to an extent. I don't know, but very minorly. Wasn't that big. Which that also too could be because it's not that extreme. Maybe it's just another rationalization. Maybe it's something that everybody does.
You did make a YouTube channel.
Huh?
You did make a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. I did. Yeah, that was. Yeah, and they call it Charisma King. But I was doing it for I thought about this. I guess there's multiple reasons why people would do shit, but I thought that it would, like, I'm like, dude, I'm making these YouTube videos. I can like make this as extreme as I want, as epic as I want, and I can tell like a dope ass story because I'm a really good storyteller. And I was like, I don't know, like that the line that I think really helped out personally is like, a lot of stuff is the line from RSD. How can we make this more epic? Like in game, in life, and you know, and I was thinking, well, how can I make this YouTube channel epic? So
I think about life, like actually the same thing, like actually, well, Zan, that's like one of my number one mentors actually, like in this industry, and like he's not like as results like oriented, so that's been partially a problem. In some regards.
Who's not?
Huh?
Who's not?
Or he's not like, he doesn't like he's more philosophical in nature. What do you say?
How can I make this epic?
Oh yeah, well similar to that. Well, he says like every great life has like a great renunciation. That's another thing, dude. That's another line he says like in his books actually, and I like always live by that. But he says every great life has a great renunciation. So it's like yeah, like back then like he was like and I've like followed that like motto constantly over my life. I don't know if it's been good or bad. I'd say it's been pretty good actually. So it's like a lot of people, because of the sunk cost fallacy, they'll like go to college and they like know they're miserable in their program they're in, but they're like, hey, I already put all these years, and what am I gonna do if this doesn't blah 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 blah, and they rationalize it and they stay in there and then they turn 50 years old and they live like a very unfulfilling life, like just doing a job they don't like. That makes them miserable, right? And until they retire, and it's like, dude, you spent half your life or more than half your life like just not doing what you even wanted to do. Now, like, what's the price you paid? Like, well, now you have retirement money, and I guess whatever. It's not great. But what he said is like he was doing that, and he was gonna be asked to like run the company. He was like gonna be this like tech company, and he was like, he saw his boss, and he's like, dude, this guy's fucking miserable. Like, he just doesn't have the life I want. Like, and he's like, he could have been rich as fuck, like doing that, like right then and there, right? Like they're asking him to take over, and he's like, you know what? I'm packing my bags. I'm off where? I don't fucking know.
You know why?
Huh?
People rationalize that they're always going to change later. It's not going to be today that I change. It's going to be tomorrow or the next day. Like, it's really hard changing your trajectory too, because it's scary or it's this or it's that. And so you're people like, same reason people don't want to approach girls. They'll rationalize not approaching girls for the stupidest fucking reasons, because they're afraid to take that first step. Right. And they're afraid of not even just the first step, because if they only focus on the first step, they'd be fine, but they're focusing on the entire fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's like this giant monster.
That's why it's the process oriented, the way you described earlier, right? You follow the process, forget about the results.
You can look at this giant King Kong monster altogether, or you can just like focus on its left pinky toe. I'm gonna fuck that left pinky toe up. Yeah. And then you work your way up until you get to the calves, and then you get to the torso. Yeah, piecemeal it. But like in the same way, people won't quit their job or chase their dreams or take that first step and make a YouTube channel when they want to do something like that, because they're afraid to take that first step. But then they'll find the rationalizations that are not even the reasons they're not doing it, because they don't have enough internal awareness.
I see that.
Yeah.
So like going back to what you were saying earlier about the girl, like earlier, like you said that you were closing yourself off from like opportunities and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that's what I guess I'm going back to, like like seeing that, like I guess it kind of goes back to that, like, and you kind of have to like look at your life like that, like, okay, yes, it's gonna be painful to let her go right now or whatever, and overall you probably agree it would be but on some level emotionally, like you feel like, fuck, like what if this is a bad choice? But like imagine like the incredible like adventure that like all the possible adventures, actually it's not just one, it's like infinite potential possibilities of like epicness, the way you're saying, that open themselves up. It's like new doors. But they're not going to be there right now. Like, I mean, or if you go back, right, like if you waver with your like conviction or your decisions, you're just going to be like spinning around in circles in the same spot, right?
You give me ideas.
Yeah.
All right.
So sometimes I just think like sometimes I just like sometimes I do regret doing this. Maybe some people will say I have like commitment issues or stuff like that. But sometimes I just like to shake things up just to shake them up. Like it's like, well, this ain't dope enough. Let's do something crazy. Let's just see what happens. And let's just see what happens. That kind of like drives me sometimes. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, that's
kind
fun.
of exciting. Yeah.
To me, all right, really weird and slightly off topic, but this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. So every time I do some kind of new pickup technique or something like that, or maybe something that I used to do, or maybe something I saw Tyler and Julian do, and I I grab my balls and pick them off the ground and decide to do it. I like the analogy or like the idea. So every time I decide to do that, it's almost like cliff jumping or something like that. It's like this thing that I was afraid to do, and I take that first step of doing like this crazy opener. It's like where I'm yelling this girl down, but I'm going all in on it, and I'm smiling and I'm laughing as I'm doing it. And the girl's like gives me eye contact, and I just draw her the fuck in because I'm like fully like giving into it. It's really cool.
Yeah, but it's that same idea. It's like, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
It's like everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. It's almost like exploration. It's like kind of Lewis and Clark in a way. It's kind of like you're going down.
It's deeper than Lewis and Clark, man.
Yeah.
Because like that's what I think personally. Like some people like to travel the world, right? And I think okay, that's cool. That's interesting. But I think like if you explore your own mind more, like by doing this, like putting yourself in different, like think your mind in the really ridiculous situations, stuff like that. Even if it's like within your own house, like even in your own room, like that's already like pretty.
Oh yeah.
Like that. That's the powerful part. Like what's going on inside your own head. I think like that's even more interesting.
Well, I think there was something I read. Actually, it's either that I read this or I thought this. I'm not sure which it is, so I'm gonna take credit for neither. But I think people, they have one of two choices. Either one, it's that they need to their journey to becoming better is either internal or external. It's either like by chasing things on the outside, or it's by like exploring inside. And sometimes it's both.
Yeah.
But usually, people need both to different degrees. Some people are all the way out, but they lack completely in. And some people are completely in, but lack the out.
Right.
Which I think that's harder to have like different out sometimes, and then have the in, to be fair. Because if the world on the outside is reflecting something different, then it's kind of hard to,
There's no difference.
Well, you get people will kind of almost like subconsciously tell you who they think you are, or you'll misinterpret what they're doing to be even worse than what it is, because you have like a negative self-image, or you have like a certain belief about how people are supposed to treat you. So then you force what the actions people are doing into exactly what it is you think you are, because it's content bias.
Okay.
You're forcing like people's words through your content bias. Like I believe I'm a worm, so this person like compliments me on my jacket. I'm like, oh, that person was dissing on my jacket.
It's a confirmation bias.
Yeah, I think it's confirmation bias. That's actually my theory. That's my theory. I think it's confirmation bias. I think it's like a logical fallacy actually kind of playing like effect, like psychologically, and fucking with you.
Weird.
Yeah. And so
Yes.
it's why your story and your narrative actually matters, because your story, you're gonna self-actualize your story, and then and it's not just self-actualizing your story. You're also your frame. You're telling people through your frame, like this is the way the world works. And so when somebody thought that maybe you were like this, and then you're like, no, I'm this, and everybody's like, oh, I guess you're that, because you're so confident about being that. So then people are feeding back to you that you're this. I think I'm a worm. And sometimes too, narcissists will also see that you think you're a worm, you think you're low self-esteem, so they'll use it to pick on you because they're bullies, and they do it to prove to themselves that they're strong and they have a reason to be confident and loved.
But each one of us has pieces of both, elements of both.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like,
yeah. To different degrees. Some people are really hardcore in, one or the other, and some people are really light in it. But I think it's like, obviously.
Enlightened, you said.
Enlightened, I think, is like an absolute abundance in self and others. Like you believe that no matter what, that you are inherently. So I think about it like this: lacking abundance is like breathing. It's like if I held somebody underwater and like they had a knife. I always give this example. If you give somebody that you're drowning a knife, or the guy just had a knife in his pocket and you're holding him underwater and he can't breathe, he's gonna start stabbing you. Obviously, he has a knife. You're gonna about to kill him. So what happens is a lot of people, the same way that like this person's afraid to breathe, like this person's like, so these people get choked at some point in their life where they lose like the sense of like self, or the sense of love, or like they get the wrong rationalizations, and then like now they're choking and they feel like they're drowning, and now the rest of their life they're living their life as if each breath might be their last breath, or like maybe like they don't know when their next breath of air is going to come, and because they feel like this, they actually scare a lot of people from it, which makes it cause it more. And now they're gasping for air. So when you teach somebody game, you have to teach them, like, you gotta first get them to get some air. You gotta teach them, like, look, it's okay, breathe. They're having a panic attack, almost a panic attack of life. And they're struggling for the air. And now because they're struggling for the air, they like, and they're like, dude, just calm down, take deep breaths. Like, and you have them do it long enough until eventually there's like, oh, maybe the air is inherently supposed to be there. And then like, once they trust the air to be there, now they can like stop focusing on it. Now they just assume it's supposed to be there. So friendship, if I assume that no matter what, I have dope friends, the people will replace them. But now if I'm freaking out, like, please, you're cool, please like me, I'm like, and like, I can't breathe. It's like, dude, just chill out. Dude, I'm supposed to be here. Dude, if you don't chill out, I can't hang out with you. Stop. And like, people don't understand what's going on though, so they interpret it as being creepy or needy oftentimes, because it's like, you know, they only understand like a very shallow layer of what's going on, but it's really so much more deep.
I heard another idea, like you just I heard this other idea around that, 'cause that's also something I struggle with. I heard an idea around that which I liked even better, because it's like, because we already know, like, on some level, like, you are creeping them out, right?
Oh yeah.
But more so than anything, it's like your over-investment, like, it's like you've walked, it's like in your mind, you've already walked like 2 miles with them, and they haven't even thought about you once, so it's like, in their mind, they're just confused, actually.
Oh yeah,
just like,
that's so true. I've had that so much.
Yeah.
Or like the that's so nuts. That's so true. A lot of times the cool kids would always get that look. Like there's certain looks that throw me the fuck off. And that's one of those when I realized that I was like overthinking something and I feel out of it. I feel like kind of but then again, thinking about like that instead of letting it go like you're meditating is also the problem too. Because now you're also doing the exact same thing that you there to begin with. You know, letting it go and moving on.
Right.
Like meditation.
Letting it go, but also just noticing how your mind's doing that, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's for me, that's like the main takeaway. It's like, one thing that I've noticed too, like it's weird, this is very off topic, but I guess it's, for some reason, it's just anecdotally, I've never heard people mention this. It's just something I've noticed for years actually while meditating. And it's the idea that like when you're sitting in your room or something, like it's good because you get more focused, right? Because it's quiet and stuff like that, so you can concentrate more easily. But I guess like sometimes if you're sitting outside, like let's say you're sitting by a river and the water's passing over your ears, or there's like a wind, like it's pretty windy, and you feel the breeze passing over your skin, and you can also hear it as well, right? So there's like it's like stimulating you, right? On some level, the wind, and it's kind of like that wind, the perception of the wind, along with all these self-perceptions, there's all this like your self-story and all this type of stuff. And when the wind's just passing by like that, it's like, it kind of like feels like they kind of merge. It's like, yo, like all this stuff that's going on, it's just like the wind. It's just like passing by. Like it's not personal. It's like, it's kind of one of the good things about when you have the wind going. Like, I've noticed like, it's like, oh shit, the shit ain't that serious. It's just a breeze that's passing through. It kind of has that effect. I don't know if that makes sense on some level.
No, that makes absolute sense.
But it's weird how it makes it feel different that way.
Okay, this is annoying. Actually, where is this thing at? I'm trying to turn on my Bluetooth right now, but it's not letting me.
You need to get an iPhone. I don't know why you don't have an iPhone.
Because I hate myself.
It's gonna be way easier, like for your job and everything.
I agree. I just apparently like making it difficult. There we go, I got it. Okay, good. So I'm trying to still have processes and stuff, and sometimes like I'll remember to do something like that, or I'll have like, I feel like the narrative for me to keep to the phone is that I will not be able to learn the other phone that well. I'm also afraid too, because I have so many pictures and different stuff on this phone and so many different ideas. I have my notes, my color notes in this thing, and somehow they transfer over. Like I have like so many like just notes upon notes in my phone, and if I switch it over, I'm afraid that they'll somehow get deleted, because I had at one point where they got deleted and I was like heartbroken. I was like, no, this sucks, because it was so much different ideas and so many different like thoughts that were like that I was going to sift through later and like break down, or maybe like they just help me without my processes of like thinking.
Well, the good thing is that the notes on the phone will synchronize with the other window too on Apple. Like, you know, that'll be one benefit.
That's true.
That's one. I know it does diminish what you just said.
No, that makes sense. It's just like that was a fear, and honestly, I didn't even look into it. To be fair, I didn't really see it as that can be that big a deal. Like I figured out how to do it like this. If it does come down to where it's such a big, where it's gonna take up so much time to like, you know, where I'm realizing that I think there's other things that are more important that are gonna like fix my management of time a lot faster, a lot better. Like I think that's like a low tier fix.
Maybe not. I mean,
for the investment.
But you could spend like a day like just going through them, and then like, you know, you could like kind of get the best of it out of there. Like the best 80 Pareto principle, get the best ideas out of there.
I keep forgetting to do this. I was gonna play music. Not in the mood. I don't know what that is.
I'm gonna go chill for a bit.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Get some food maybe.